Hey everyone, welcome back to another Swatches and First Impressions video, and as you can tell by the title, the eyeshadow palette that we are going to be swatching and giving my first impression thoughts on is the Bloodlust palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics. When I saw the review video on Jeffree Star's YouTube channel, I immediately fell in love with this palette. Even before I saw the eyeshadows, I just absolutely fell in love with the packaging. And that's the first thing that we're gonna touch on in this video. So let's keep this intro short and just get right on into this video. So if you would like to hear my first impression thoughts and see the eyeshadow swatches and what I think of the eyeshadows in this Bloodlust eyeshadow palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics, then just keep on watching. So yes, the packaging it's gorgeous. Like, there really isn't anything else for me to say about it. Like, I am just absolutely speechless by the packaging. It's just so beautiful and so incredibly unique. Like, what other makeup company has made an eyeshadow palette that is completely covered in this velvet purple color, or just velvet in general? Like, no one has, and that's just what I love about Jeffree Star Cosmetics. Is I feel like every concept that he comes up with for his palettes and even for his other makeup products are just so unique and so, like, out of the box. Like, I just absolutely love it. So yes, as you can tell by the palette, it is kind of a darker plum purple color, and it's just all velvet. And then of course you do have the Jeffree Star Cosmetics star in the middle, as well as like a little crown surrounding the logo, just to kind of go with the whole bloodlust theme. It's very kind of like a medieval type theme with like kings and queens and things like that. So I think that's really cool that he added the little touch of the crown to his logo. Oh, and also another thing that he did for his palette, just to provide some more protection when it came to shipping his palettes. And not only that, but for us to protect as customers when we're traveling or just keeping this product in our collection in general, he did package this palette in just a plain like cardboard box, but he did have like cardboard bumper borders, if that makes any sense, inside of the packaging, just to provide a little bit more protection for this palette, which I really do appreciate. It's nothing like out of this world insane. It is just, you know, basic cardboard, but the fact that he did add those bumpers inside of the box, it really did help. Even though it's not like a hardcore material, it really does provide a little bit more bumper protection for the palette. So I really did appreciate him providing that along with the packaging. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the eyeshadow shades that come in this palette. Now, of course, in true Jeffree Star fashion, you get 18 different eyeshadow shades in this palette. Just taking a quick look of all of the shades that come in this palette, it's a very colorful palette of like purples and pinks. Some are on like the more like neutral side with not being like really like out there and neon, but overall this is a more colorful palette compared to just like a more natural nude palette. And of course, along with the eyeshadows, you do get a mirror as well in this palette, which is always great to have a mirror that comes in a palette, and of course it is a good quality mirror. And I'll be completely honest, my first thoughts when it came to seeing the eyeshadow shades that came in this palette, I wasn't as blown away like I was with the packaging. I mean, I knew right away when Jeffree Star launched this palette, I knew I wanted it just because of the packaging alone is so gorgeous, and I just knew I wanted that in my makeup collection. But yeah, looking at the actual eyeshadows for the first time, I really wasn't blown away by them. So I was super anxious to get into this swatching video just to actually try out the eyeshadows and see if that would change my mind at all. Of course, it could be because of how out there and unique and beautiful the packaging is. I think I was just so hyped up about the packaging alone that it was really hard for, you know, the eyeshadows to take my mind away from the packaging, if that makes any sense. But I do love the eyeshadow name shades in this palette. I just love how Jeffree Star keeps everything so like universal with his themes. Like, everything really just fits so well together. So I really do like some of the names that come in this palette. Alright, now that we talked a little bit about the packaging and just kind of my first thoughts looking at the eyeshadow shades, let's go ahead and get into some swatches. So the first color that we are going to be swatching is in the name Your Majesty, and this is kind of like an off-white matte color. I did find it to be a little bit more on the chalky side, but it is definitely a good color to have in a palette for a brow bone highlight. The next color is in the name Take the Crown, and this is kind of a like metallic or shimmery purple color. Now I did notice while I was picking up this shade with my finger, it did have a good amount of fallout, but it is a pigmented color and just overall gorgeous. The next eyeshadow color is in the name Deviant, and this is kind of like a light lilac type purple, and it is also a matte eyeshadow. This color I wasn't really blown away by. I did find it to be chalky and not very pigmented. The next eyeshadow color is in the name Beauty Sleep, and this is kind of like a light, shimmery, pinkish orange, peach color, I guess you could say. I didn't find this color to be as pigmented, but I think this would be a beautiful color for like an inner corner highlight. The next eyeshadow color is in the name Wet Jewel, and this is kind of like a lighter, shimmery Barbie pink color, and I absolutely love this eyeshadow. It is beautiful. The next eyeshadow is in the name Royal Plan, and this is like a light maroon type color, I guess you could say, and it is a matte eyeshadow. I did find this eyeshadow color to be similar to Jeffree Star Cosmetics liquid lipsticks in either the shade Rose Madder or Doll Parts, but either way, this is a pigmented, gorgeous color. Next eyeshadow color is in the name Dungeon, and this is a deep purple color and also a matte eyeshadow. I did find this shade to also be a little bit chalky, but it is pigmented and a very pretty color. The next eyeshadow is in the name Scandal Water, and this is a dark matte, kind of like a periwinkle blue type color, and this was another one of my favorite eyeshadows in this palette. It's pigmented and just absolutely beautiful. The next eyeshadow color is in the name Sworn Enemy, and this is kind of like a shimmery, pukey green color is like the best way I can describe it. It is a little bit more on the chalky side, and I did find that this one also had a good amount of fallout, but it is a pigmented color, and I just love how like beautiful and unique this color is. The next eyeshadow color is in the name Pink Magic, and it's kind of like a darker version of the Wet Jewel eyeshadow color that we swatched a little bit ago. And I love this color. I think it is beautiful, but I think this is one of the colors where you could have some staining. My finger was a little stained, so that's just something to keep in mind. The next eyeshadow color is in the name Bleeding Heart, and this is a matte true red color. This color was very strange. I don't really know how to describe it to you guys unless you have felt this color yourself, but it felt really like dry and chalky. It was very strange, but once I started to swatch it on my arm, it kind of just glided on my arm like butter and kind of like smoothed itself out. It's very strange. I've never felt anything like it before, but it is a beautiful color. The next eyeshadow color is in the name Executioner, and this is a very unique color. It's like a black eyeshadow, but it has like purple shimmers in it. I found it to be very pigmented, and it's just a really pretty, unique black color. Next is the eyeshadow color in the name High King, and this is a matte, kind of like a plummy purple pink color. This color is a pigmented and really pretty color, but I did find it to be chalky. And even though I found it to be a pretty color, when I swatched it on my arm, I wasn't really blown away by it. I just didn't really think it was anything special. The next eyeshadow is in the name Vivid Mood, and this is a matte light purple color. I did find this also to be a little chalky, but it is a pretty color. Next, we have the eyeshadow in the name Monarchy, and this is a matte tan color. Now, this is the most neutral, natural shade in the palette, and you can never go wrong with including any neutral, natural shades in an eyeshadow palette. I did find this not to be as pigmented, but I'm still glad that you have the option of a more neutral color in the palette. The next eyeshadow shade is in the name Blood Queen, and this is a matte deep plum purple. I did find this to be a little chalky and also not as pigmented, so I wasn't really totally impressed with this eyeshadow. The next eyeshadow is in the name Vile Serpent, and this is a matte, kind of like a deep foresty green color. This eyeshadow was also on the more chalky side, didn't find it as pigmented, and this is also the eyeshadow that I was the most disappointed in this palette. At least by swatching it, it just did not turn out anywhere near where I wanted it to, so I was very disappointed in this eyeshadow. And last but not least, the last eyeshadow color that we have in this palette is in the name Betrayal, and this is a shimmery, kind of like a shimmery version of the High King eyeshadow color. And again, kind of similar to High King as well. It's a pretty color, but I just wasn't really blown away by it. Didn't think it was anything special. Here are all of the eyeshadows from the Bloodlust palette swatched on my arm, just to kind of give you a closer look at all the colors. Now let's go ahead and get into the pros and cons of the palette in general, the packaging, the eyeshadows, and then get into my first impression thoughts and final thoughts for this video. So the pros that I found from this Bloodlust palette is, of course, the unique, gorgeous packaging. And not only is it like gorgeous and unique, it's good quality, it's sturdy. And like I kind of said in the beginning of this video, I appreciate the fact that Jeffree Star packaged this palette in the like plastic, or not plastic, the cardboard packaging with like the cardboard bumpers around it, just to make sure the palettes, while they were shipping, they didn't get ruined or any eyeshadows cracked in any way or things like that. So I really appreciate the time that they put into making this palette safe during shipping. Also, I absolutely love the theme. It's unique. It's something that obviously Jeffree Star has not done before, and I don't really think anyone else has done before either, at least not from what I can remember. So I love the theme and how it was pretty much universal throughout. And for the eyeshadows, again, in true Jeffree Star fashion, they are good quality. Some of them are a little chalky, but I would say a majority of them are pigmented. They glide right on. And just from experience with his other eyeshadow palettes, I know when applying them on the eye, they're pigmented, they're easy to blend, and so quick and easy to do your makeup, and I really don't expect anything less from this palette. Some of my favorite eyeshadows that I found from this palette are Take the Crown, Wet Jewel, Royal Plan, Scandal Water, Pink Magic, Bleeding Heart, and Executioner. As far as the cons for this palette, and you can probably tell just by looking at it, this is a common complaint that people have had about this palette, and that is the shape of the palette. It is kind of like a weird shape, and it's not very travel friendly. For me personally, that's not a big deal because I don't really travel that much, and I am happy with the size of it. I thought when Jeffree Star first revealed this palette, I thought it looked a lot bigger. So I'm happy that when I received it, it is a little bit more on the smaller side, or at least smaller than I thought it was going to be. So I do like that. So I think for me, traveling, I would be fine traveling with it, but my complaint with the shape is I cannot fit it in my makeup drawers, so I have to keep it separate from the rest of my eyeshadow palettes. And for someone like me who may be a little OCD, that really likes to organize and keep things a certain way, that drives me nuts a little bit. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the shape. I kind of wish it was either smaller or at least a different shape so that I could at least store it with the rest of my eyeshadow palettes. And another con, I really do like the overall look of the eyeshadows, and overall I'm pleasantly surprised with all of the shades in here. But it is mainly a more colorful eyeshadow palette. It is mainly all like purples and pinks and things like that. Even though they're not really like out there neon, really like shimmery shades, they are kind of more on like the muted side. It's still not a very like neutral or natural eyeshadow palette. Which, I mean, I guess I'm kind of someone that likes more neutral eyeshadow palettes. Just for me personally, wearing eyeshadows on a day-to-day basis, I do tend to go for more neutral nude shades, and there really isn't any options in this palette. I'm pretty sure the only option is the one more tanned color in the name Monarchy. So yeah, if you're someone that isn't a fan of colorful eyeshadows or overall like more colorful eyeshadow palettes, this probably wouldn't be the palette for you. Now, kind of weighing the pros and cons, the overall packaging, the eyeshadows themselves, I for sure would recommend this palette. Again, like I mentioned before, I don't know if I mentioned in this video or maybe in other videos, but I honestly wouldn't even care if all of the eyeshadows were complete crap. Just on the packaging on its own, like, I'm obsessed with, and I knew right away just by the packaging I wanted this palette for my makeup collection. So if you're someone that has a makeup collection, I think this is definitely a palette for you. It's something so incredibly unique that no one else has done before, and I think it is a must for any makeup collection. Alright everyone, and that is it for this swatches and first impressions video on the Bloodlust eyeshadow palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics. I really hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And coming very soon, I will be filming a get ready with me using this palette, so actually using some of the eyeshadows on my eyes. And I actually already filmed it as I'm editing this video for you guys. And yeah, all I'm gonna say to you guys for now is I'm very excited for you guys to see the final look and to see that video. So yes, that will be coming very soon. So if you are not subscribed to my channel already, I want to welcome you and hope that you please subscribe if you enjoy videos like these, as well as a variety of other videos that I have here on my channel. So yeah, I'm gonna get going for now. Once again, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I hope you all are having a wonderful day, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye everyone.